What's going on, Patreon? It's your boy Jones, and let's get straight into it, right? So, Shiba Inu, how high can it go? As you guys know, yesterday SHIB was listed on Robinhood. This is something phenomenal that we've been waiting for since last, summer. Some people even longer than that, right? It went up at 1.30%, however, now is down. And of course, everybody's wondering, why is it down? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Well, it's very simple. The market, you know, SHIB, when it runs, it correlates to what Bitcoin does. Unfortunately, a lot of the market is still coupled with Bitcoin. Although I do think in about 5 to 10 years, that's going to be different. But as of right now, it is what it is. So SHIB went up 30% at one point, then 17%. Now it's down basically just because most of the market is down, right? And so people are wondering, well, how long will the rally last? I don't think the rally has even started yet, to be honest with you. Yes, there's been months long of accumulation behind the scenes, probably a lot of it by Robinhood, let's be honest. But this article basically, I glanced at it. The real question is, how long does this rally last and how will it take the price? Many analysts have denied any possibility of SHIB's price going higher because of the high market cap. However, the project has burnt millions of tokens recently to reduce the circulating supply to increase the price. It remains to be seen if it succeeds or not. On the other hand, Robinhood deals with 22.5 million users on its monthly platform. Exposing SHIB to many investors can increase buying pressure and positivity help price, especially when a coin like SHIB has one of the strongest communities. So basically, it didn't answer the question, okay? My thing is this, guys, because I know everybody's wondering about price, even though I think that, the price will go up, it will drop a zero. When, I don't know, right? I mean, my rule of thumb of crypto is, you guys know I'm all about diamond hands. However, I think the price will go up a lot faster than people think. Now, yesterday I had a conversation with a Shiba Inu whale I know personally, right? There's a brother that he's made millions off of SHIB. And guess what, guys? Let me just state this for the record. When SHIB goes up 20%, 30%, or even 17% for whales, they're happy, right? Because if you put in $1 million, 20%, 17%, that's a lot of bread, even 10%. That's great return on your investment where they can take out the profit right away. For people like us who don't have that much money to put into Shiba or coins, 20% ain't diddly squat, right? That's why we're looking for those, uh, you know, 20x's, 200% jumps, or 2,000% or 20,000%, right? That's what we looking for. But basically, the Shiba Inu whale was telling me, Solo, what happened last September when Shiba Inu got listed on Coinbase? I thought about it. I was like, yeah, it didn't really do a lot. He's like, right. SHIB didn't start running until the next month, until October, right? So basically, what the whale buddy of mine, and by the way, this is not financial advice. I'm not giving you financial advice. But what the whale friend was telling me is that it's going to be a delayed effect, okay? And then we're going to see a new all time high here. He mentioned within 30 to 60 days, all right? So looking at what he's saying, I can say, okay, I mean, it makes sense, but I believe it. Okay, 30 to 60 days. I mean, everything is based on, can BTC rally and make another push towards 50K. Even if it only gets to 50K, 51, that's going to bring SHIB and a lot of altcoins up with it, right? And I think that BTC can. I personally, like I said, I remember, guys, I've been saying all month, and even before, I'm expecting a dip. I don't know how long this will last. I think, you know, if we see a little rally with BTC to back to 50 or the mid 50s, I think a lot of altcoins are gonna catapult, right? Right now, when you look at the fear to greed index, we're at a 25. And one thing I do know is, because right now there's a lot of FUD of going to 20K. Do I think that's possible? Of course I think it's possible. However, one thing I know is, whenever the market tells you one thing is going to happen, expect the opposite. So you guys know my motto. When people get extremely fearful, I get extremely bullish, okay? And when people get extremely bullish, that lets me know, okay, it's time to cash out and call it a day. All right? So at this point, guys, all I'm saying is this. I think that we're gonna see SHIB and altcoins start to really rally in May, and I've been saying that. I think that the end of April is where the end of April is gonna tell me more what's going to really transpire. And when I say the end of April, I'm talking about anywhere from the 22nd, that's Friday, to the end of the month. But this is what I'm going with right now, so I'm not worried. Let it go down. I'm in position. And this is another thing I want to talk about, guys, is make sure that you're in position to take profits on some of your favorite coins, because if there is a rally that happens to 50.55, it's probably not going to be for long, okay? It could happen anywhere from today on out to next week or at the end of the month. I'm not sure. I don't know when. I'm just throwing around possible scenarios, okay? Now, Empire token has gone down. Once again, you know what? I'm not tripping about that. Now, they have a big announcement coming in 2 weeks. Qcoin, Qcoin, allegedly. So I was talking to another YouTuber, and he was asking me, well, if it gets listed on Qcoin, how high do you think it'll go? And I honestly said, you know what? I don't even, at this point, if we're not talking about Empire going to $1, I don't really care, because that's when I'm looking to take profit. You guys remember that I've been buying Empire tokens since October, before it went on that little run up, right? And some of you guys have as well. Salute to you guys who got in right away, right? Gotta say salute to my homie Xanados Clutch, right? But what I'm gonna do is I'll wait for $1 and then I'll take profits, right? Now, my thing is, if it gets listed on Qcoin by the end of the month or at the beginning of next month, if it reaches the all-time high, heck, depends on, you know, the all-time high. Great. I mean, I think that definitely. I don't really have a number, guys, to be honest. I think that if it gets listed on Qcoin, it's definitely going to rally. But then if it gets listed on Coinbase too, then it's definitely going to make a push towards $1. And then that's when I'm going to be looking to take some major profit, because I've been dollar cost averaging on Empire as well. I've been going aggressive last week, but it's at 2 cents, 2.7 cents, right? Now, guys, for those who are wondering where Empire is, you can get it. You can get it at L Bank. That's an exchange. Pancake Swap, Uniswap is the easiest, okay? Now, for people who don't know how to use those, I do have a video. Please go through my old timeline on how to buy Empire token on Pancake Swap. If you need a tutorial, I do private consultations. I don't really advertise them because my time costs. I'm not even going to hold you. But the tutorial videos, I do have that for Empire, okay? Now Sheena. Now I know you guys are wondering what happened to Sheena Inu. So a couple days ago, one of the whales, his account got hacked, and he got drained from his Sheena, his ETH, and whatnot. Guys, security is paramount. Please, secure your cryptos. You guys know, and I haven't said this in a while in a video, but I'm gonna make it a habit to say it in every video now. Because, guys, you need to make sure that you have your coins secured. Get a cold wallet. I keep bringing this up, and I'm going to bring this up every video now. Get a Descent, or get a Tracer, or get a Ledger, right? I personally prefer... I like all of them, but I prefer, just for functionality, I like Tracer and Descent more. I like Descent because you can do the biometric thumbprint, which is great. Instead of having to, with the Ledger, you got to cue each number in. One thing I do like about the Ledger is it has the best interface, in my opinion. But I like the fact that with Tracer, you can sync it with your Exodus. So Tracer, I like Tracer. I like Descent. The only thing I don't like about Descent is they don't have an interface for your computer, but you can sync it with your phone. But the reason I think that the cent is rates a little higher than both is because with the cent you can put some altcoins in there that are not, you can't put on Ledger. Now, not saying you can't, but it's just okay. So to wrap this video up, I'm gonna play this little video by Yahoo, and they're gonna talk about inflation and whatnot, and we're gonna wrap this up with talking about inflation and how that'll affect crypto as well.
Good Tuesday morning and welcome to Yahoo Finance Live. I'm Brian Sazi alongside Emily McCormick. Julie Hyman is on assignment for us this week. We are seeing some mixed action in the pre-market as traders eye the upward march in the 10-year yield, pressure on tech stocks, and another hot inflation reading. All three major indices right now, where things stand, they are in the green. Now, here are three things you need to know right now. First up, another brutal reading on inflation. We just got the latest March Consumer Price Index numbers, and the CPI saw a yearly increase of 8.5% year over year. Wall Street estimated that number to be closer to 8.4%. Month over month, that is an increase of 1.2% in line with economist estimates. We can break these numbers down even more with the CPI excluding food and energy prices, which came in at an increase of 0.3% month over month compared to the 0.5% increase estimated by economists. Joining us now to go over these numbers and what they mean to the economy, markets, and your wallet is our very own Brian Chung. Brian, so far the markets...
And I will say this, not to really interrupt too much, but I think the number is actually higher. Now, how high, I don't know, but it wouldn't shock me if the real number is anywhere from 10 to 15%. Because remember, they changed it back in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, the metric, how they measure inflation and prices like that. But anyway, let me shut up and let's continue.
Appear to be liking these numbers. We've seen futures strengthen after. Why would that be the case?
Yeah, well, what we're seeing right now is definitely in line with expectations when you take a look at that headline number from the Consumer Price Index. Again, this is just one measure of the way that the U.S. government sees price increases in this country, and that headline number coming in at 1.2% on a month-over-month basis. By the way, you don't usually tend to see more than 100 basis points of a month-over-month increase in this specific reading, which shows really just how unprecedented this high inflation tends to be. Now, of course, we also want to measure this on a year-over-year basis, so that clocked in at 8.5% on a year-over-year basis for the headline number. Again, this is covering the month of March, and when you parse out the more volatile components of obviously price increases, when you take out food and energy, what they call the core CPI, that clocking in at 6.5% on a year-over-year basis. And if there's one silver lining, it actually might be that core reading, because the street was estimating something a little bit higher than that, something around 6.6%. So actually that 6.5% core reading may have actually been a slight undershoot of what the street had expected. Now, when you unpack the components of this CPI report, obviously a big reason for the overall increase in prices in the month of March was gasoline and fuel oil. When you take a look at the specific month-over-month increase of 18.9% in the price of gasoline, over 20% for fuel oil. And this is spilling over into a number of other categories as well. When you take a look, for example, at airline fares, up 10.7%. Also take a look at car and truck rentals, up 11.7%. So all these categories that are travel related are also getting a tick up. And then owner's equivalent rent, you can see the shelter component that we're highlighting there on the right-hand side of your screen, up about 0.5%. That's going to be a stickier component because obviously those longer-term leases and mortgages are going to affect prices over the next few years as well. So guys, broad-based inflation across the board, haven't seen these levels since 1981. I like to highlight some categories that aren't necessarily increasing. Smartphones down 4%, sporting event tickets down 6%, and for some reason, fresh sweet rolls and coffee cakes down 1.7%. So at least there's that.
Definitely an interesting breakdown there, Brian Chung. But
yeah, because guess what? Nobody is going to sporting events like that. And fresh sweet rolls, is this guy serious right now, bro? Like, bruh, like, are you trolling, bruh? Like, come on, bruh.
I'm also wondering, since you do watch the Fed so closely, what do you think this latest reading, this new 4-decade high that we got on inflation might mean for monetary policy and what we might see in May from the Fed's next meeting?
Well, it's certainly giving Federal Reserve officials no comfort that really the only category that saw price decreases is fresh sweet rolls. So for the Federal Reserve, they're obviously looking to this report and saying, well, this just reinforces our view that we have to take away the punch bowl and the easy money that we've continued to print since the depths of the pandemic. They already had that first interest rate hike in March. It seems very likely the case that they're going to do that double bump, the king size bump of 50 basis points or 0.5% in their next meeting in about 3 weeks. Of course, the question is how much higher can yields go from here? We've already seen on the 10-year, for example, that rate going up by 100 basis points or 1% just in the last 5 weeks or so. And I did a little bit of data digging to see when was the last time we saw yields rise that high, that fast? And you have to rewind to the early 1980s. So it was 1982, the last time that we saw yields going up by more than 20 or 25 basis points in a few days. And that makes sense because what was happening in the early 1980s? Well, the same story with inflation, right? The CPI print that we got this morning, also comparable to 1981. That was the Volcker era approach and policy of dramatically ratcheting up interest rates to get ahead of inflation. So a lot of parallels to be drawn between that episode and this one that we find ourselves in right now as well.
Okay, so this guy seriously was
With his city custom cash
trying to
fund,
brag about the cheese sweets, right? Yeah, guys. So this is another thing, right? We know that in the past, the narrative has been that Bitcoin particularly will be a hedge against inflation, right? I think that will come. You're gonna see that happening later on in the summer because what's going on is as the dollar will continue to lose its value, and there's only so much gold and silver you can buy. Eventually, people will get into crypto. And I know a lot of people say, oh, we've heard that before. But one thing I've learned about crypto, guys, is this market is you have to be extremely patient for things to come into fruition, for things to happen, okay? But I do think, guys, we are closer than ever to seeing an altcoin season, okay? So what does that mean? That means that Bitcoin can be, in June or July, Bitcoin could be at a 20 to 30,000, but the altcoins will go up crazy. And this is not just me talking, but technical analysis have supported that. Some of the biggest YouTubers, such as Fact Backer, have supported that. People that I know have supported that. But once again, I'm not here to tell you guys I know everything that's going to happen. I'm just giving you guys different scenarios so that way you can plan accordingly to what may happen, okay? So regardless though, guys, in the short term, I'm bearish, but towards the end of the month, I'm extremely bullish. I think that a lot of the plays that I've talked about are going to do extremely well, particularly in May, but they're going to do even better in June. And then, the main important part is make sure you have a profit plan. And then number two, guys, for those that don't have cold storage wallets, if you're new on my Patreon, go back and watch some of my older videos because sometimes people ask me questions about videos that I've already done. So just go back and watch those, right? Unfortunately, with some of these videos, I can't keep doing a tutorial because there's only so many times you can show how to, make set up a ledger. You can't really do that multiple times, right? Especially if I'm trying to show people how to use it and stuff like that and all of that. So, but definitely, I have to really harp on you guys that if you don't have a cold storage, man, you better get on it because it's just important. Because right now, it's just so many people are getting hacked with these different new malwares and stuff like that. If you have a little bit of money on exchanges because you're doing a little bit of trading or you have like limit orders or sell orders, that's fine, cool, I get it. But man, make sure you get a cold storage wallet, man, because you want to make sure your crypto is protected. And then if you start to, see your cryptos move up and then you want to set up a limit order or buy order or something, yeah, cool, okay? Anyway, guys, it's your boy Jones, and I'm out. God bless you. God bless America. God bless the world. Peace.